Order, may I have your attention, please? Good people of Earth, Alternia, the forest, and elsewhere. This morning we will hold trial for the heinous crimes committed by our peers. Aridan and Empora for 1 count of physical assault, 2 counts of murder. Kanaya and Maryam for 3 counts of physical assault, 1 count of murder. Vriska Serket for 2 counts of murder. And Gamzee Makara for 2 counts of murder. They'll be tried and judged in my court. Guilty until proven innocent, to be absolved of their crimes or condemned by you, the jury. The wicked must punish, make them pay.
All rise. The court for the district of this Greenbow is now in session. The Honorable Judge Tracy Pyro presiding. All having business before this court, draw near, give attention, and you will be heard.
Everyone, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. All my electronic devices are turned off.
All my electronic devices are turned off.
I will not talk during the trial.
I will not talk during the trial.
I will determine the guilt or innocence of the convicted to the best of my ability.
I will determine the guilt or innocence of the convicted to the best of my ability.
You may be seated. Case against Aridan Empora for 1 count of physical assault and 2 counts of murder.
Aridan Empora. Today, you will be put on trial for the blinding of Solix Captor and Tavros Nitro. How do you plead?
I'm innocent. Hear me out, but what happened was...
Order! I ask the questions, you give me the answers. And by answers, I mean leave out the romanticized sob stories about your interpersonal relationships. Tell me about half of what you are normally saying. Now, Aridan, please tell me what happened during the night of the attacks.
Well, what happened was, I was just minding my own business, and I was having a very nice conversation with Fifth about our hopes of ever going in this game. And then Soul shows up and just challenges me to a strife. After that, he then continued to...
Defeated to kick your ass.
Order, Mr. Captor! The accused has to stand. You will have your turn any minute. Proceed, Mr. Empora.
Well, after that, of course we started fighting, and I ripped off my cape, and I continued to hell with that strife. Of course, I totally dominated him, and, well, it didn't end so well for him.
May I examine this wand as evidence? Smells like Kanaya?
Well, she made it for me.
Why would Kanaya make you a magic wand?
It's not a magic wand. It's science. And she made it for me because she never visited me on that godforsaken rock.
Science? The evidence left behind at the scene of crime indicated a very powerful weapon was used. Capable of blinding Solix, yet powerful enough to impale Fefri and Kanaya, as well as destroy the matriarch.
Well, if you smell that wand a little closer, then you would know it's not actually magic or science at all. Khan said that the power was inside of me all along.
I'm done with this line of questioning. I would like to call Solix Captor to the stand. Solix, please tell the jury what instigated the strife between you and Aridan.
His faith was asking for it.
Screw you!
Now is not the time.
Order! Order! I swear, if I hear you bickering anymore, I will find you both guilty, and as punishment, I will rip out your tongues so I do not have to hear you bickering anymore.
Then I won't have this stupid lisp anymore.
Mr. Captor, be seated. I'd like to call Kanaya Maryam to the stand. Kanaya, do you recognize this weapon?
Yes.
What is it and who does it belong to?
It is the white science wand that I made for Aridan as a joke.
Did you witness what happened between Solix and Aridan?
Indeed. After insisting that I wait for him to take the major rope to the core, Aridan interrupted Fefri and Sox's feelings jam on the horn pile and began to argue with them. As was often the case, the argument broke out into a duel between Aridan and Solix. However, we were all surprised when Aridan actually knocked out Solix.
What happened next?
Fefri tried to inflict physical harm against Aridan, and in return, he defended himself.
But what was I supposed to do? Just let her hurt me?
Resulting in Fefri's untimely death.
Yes.
Don't you think that's a little extreme?
I never said he was justified in his actions.
Do you have any idea how hard it was to call her? But what was I supposed to do? Just let her stay alive and suffer?
So you admit it. Your guilt reeks so strong that I can almost taste it.
Wash yourself, land gorilla, before I rip that nose off your face.
You're in my court, Mr. Great Fairy Burst, and the jury will determine the justification for your actions. People of the jury, today you will determine the guilt or innocence of Aridan and Empora. You'll be given 1 minute to come to your decision. Please use this time wisely.
I personally refer to the strike as a leisurely activity. So it's when you play a sport with someone. When you play a sport with someone, when someone gets hurt, if both equal parties went into the sport knowing this is an outcome, I would not consider I think you have to do it.
Just in time.
For the blinding of Solix captor and the murders of Fefri Pacius and Kanaya Maryam, please raise your hand if you find Aridan and Empora guilty as charged. Raise your hands, I don't see it.
Hey, don't sweat, I'll keep track of them.
Okay. If you find Aridan and Empora innocent, please raise your hand. So, Mr. Strider, what was the verdict?
Jury finds Aridan and Empora in hot water.
Aridan and Empora, I hereby find you guilty as charged. You'll be sentenced to a public hanging at approximately 10:50 a.m. in front of all jury members.
Laugh it up for all you can. I'll get all of you. And you need to mind your own business.
Bailiff Strider, please see Mr. Empora to his seat. Miss Milan, we're ready to begin the next trial.
Case against Kanaya? Maryam?
For what?
3 counts physical assault and 1 count murder?
Yes, Rose, murder. Kanaya Maryam, please approach the stand. Today you are being put on trial for the murder of Aridan and Empora and the physical assault of Gamzee, Makara, Vriska, Serket, and Tavros Nitro. How do you plead?
I plead not guilty.
Your chainsaw smells otherwise, Kanaya. I would like to call the first victim to the stand, Tavros Nitro. Tavros, describe to the jury how you were assaulted.
It wasn't really assault.
Please tell the jury how you were assaulted.
Okay, you're the man or a woman. I don't really know. I was asleep and I guess Kanaya sawed my legs off with her chainsaw. And when I woke up, I had fancy new robot legs and I could walk again.
They're one of my strongest designs.
Shut up, Dad!
Well, looks like they didn't do much to keep him stronger, because he's still weak! Wicky, wicky, weak!
Order! Any more objections, especially from convicted criminals, Miss Serket? You will be found guilty on the spot. I will hang your dead corpses next to the scale mates in my tree. Do I make myself clear?
Yes.
Now, Tavros, obviously Kanaya did it.
Well, I mean, yeah, she sawed my legs off, but I'm lucky because I have a friend who's willing to get her hands dirty to help me out. I mean, before that, I was stuck in a four-wheel device, and I couldn't do a lot of things for myself, and it made everything really hard, and I actually wanted to thank her for helping me out.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Tavros. You may have a seat. Kanaya, please tell the jury what happened between you, Aridan, Gamzee, and Vriska.
My actions against Gamzee, Vriska, and Aridan were purely justifiable. After reanimating as a rainbow drinker, I went in search of Aridan in order to, among other things, repay him for ruining my outfit. Do you have any idea how hard it is to remove blood from fabric? I was also forced to improvise and use this gaudy cape as a bandage. Fashionable bandage aside, I came upon the three of them just as they were about to face down. A 3X showdown, if you will. It just so happened that I removed Gamzee from the picture first.
I'd like to call Gamzee Makara to the stand. Gamzee, could you please tell the jury what happened upon Kanaya's arrival?
Well, we were about to go through the party started, and she threw her damn foot all up in my bone bulge!
You may be seated, Makara. Kanaya, please continue telling the jury about the 3X showdown.
After dealing with Gamzee, my hand must have simply slipped and hit Vriska in the face. She too was in my way. And then I faced down with Aridan for the second time.
I would like to call Vriska Serket to the stand. Vriska, what happened? Damn, Vriska. Vriska, face my stand. And then tell the jury about what happened between her and Aridan.
You want to know what happened between her and Aridan? It was the most beautiful thing I have ever seen. She used her chainsaw to cut right through Aridan, just like a sword, cutting through Grublow. And then she used her makeup kind to put on her lipstick, and she licked his blood off his lips. It was so hot!
Serket, stop your fantasizing and stop breaking my stand.
What?
You may go to your seat. I would like to call Aridan and Empora to the stand. Now, Aridan, besides being a scumbag in general, what happened between you and Kanaya?
Well, to be honest, I didn't think she had the guts.
I didn't think she had the guts either after what you did to her.
she came up to me and she broke my wand in two. And then after that, that wasn't the only thing that was in two.
Thank you, Aridan. You may have a seat. Do you have any last words to tell the jury in conclusion?
Don't awe at him. He destroyed the matriarch and doomed our entire race. Anyways, my actions against these people were all purely justifiable. Had I not intervened in this 3x showdown, only chaos would have come of it. We had already lost the lives of Nepta, Equius, Tavros, and Feferi, and I was not going to let any more of my close friends get killed. Yes, I did these crimes, but I did them for the greater good of all.
People of the jury, today you will be determining the guilt or innocence of Kanaya Maryam. You'll be given 1 minute to come to your decision. Please use this time wisely.
Excuse me. Why do you think she's He was on a homicidal rampage when God counted They already had Gamzee going crazy. Yeah, it was self-defense on behalf of the government, especially considering he had already killed their ability to repopulate their planet. Like, the casualty rate would have been a lot higher had Aridan. The 3x showdown. You have Gamzee who is innocent, right?
Innocent! He deserved it.
If only the crime was being so
For the murder of Aridan and Empora and the physical assault of Gamzee Makara, Vriska Serket, and Tavros Nitrum, please raise your hand if you find Kanaya Maryam guilty of any of these charges. Thank you. You may put your hands down. Please raise your hand if you find Kanaya Maryam innocent of all charges.
None of y'all matter.
Thank you. You may put your hands down. Mr. Strider, what was the verdict?
The jury finds Kanaya Maryam innocent.
Kanaya Maryam. Rose, wait, we're lollygagging! We need to announce the next trial!
Case against Vriska Serket for 2 counts of murder.
I don't need you.
Vriska Serket, today you'll be finally brought to justice for the murders of Aridan Megiddo and Tavros Nitrum. Even though I know you're guilty, how do you plead?
Oh, please. Like you aren't just as guilty, Scourge sister.
Always trying to place the blame on someone else. This is my court, and this is your trial.
Always trying to call me guilty before I even had the chance to explain myself. And on top of all of that, you drag me out of bed at this unmother grumbly hour of the morning. I haven't even gotten nearly enough beauty sleep just so you can frame me for some murders?
The law is law, the wicked must pay. Any aspiring legislator such as myself would know. Now please tell the jury what happened during Aradia's murder.
You think I murdered her? How could I have possibly murdered her when I wasn't even at the scene of the crime? It is obvious that Aradia's death was entirely Salix Captor's fault. After all, he is the one that floated on over there and blew up in her face. Literally. It's obvious that boy was hitting the mine honey a little too hard that night because he practically burst forth in a fit of passion and utter stupidity. How on earth could I have been responsible for her death when you can't even trace me to the crime scene? You're giving me way more credit than I'm due, sister, even though it flatters me so. Obviously, I didn't do it, so I rest my case.
Your case? You rest your case?
Yeah, I do.
Even though you weren't there, you seem to remember the crime pretty well. How could you remember all the details with such clarity? As if you were there. Obviously, you killed Aradia Megiddo, and I'm going to find out how. Aradia, please approach the stand. Aradia, please describe to the jury about how you were murdered.
Well, it all happened relatively quickly. I was talking to Vriska when she told me Solix would be coming to my hut. I didn't believe her at first, but then I went outside and, well, there he was. I think he was holding a jar of mind honey. Oh, and then he killed me.
Wait a minute! Solix killed you? Not her?
I thought it was kind of strange, but then I went back to my computer when I came to, well, sort of. And there was a strange message from Vriska that said, "Arrivederci, Megiddo."
That's like some kind of fancy human language for like goodbye, right?
I think so. I guess she didn't have time for me anymore.
You may be seated, Aradia. I would like to call Solix's captor to the stand. The story is just not adding up. There's just, it's something missing here. Solix, can you please describe what happened during Aradia's murder?
Well, I don't really remember much. There was all this fogginess in my think pan. I might have eaten something? Mind honey, maybe?
Why would you indulge in mind honey if you knew that it affected you in this way?
Well, I don't really eat it much. I just know it makes my psionics go out of control. But it was like I couldn't even control what I was doing. It was doubly weird.
I knew it! Mind tricks, Serket! Solix, you may have a seat.
Mind tricks. Once again, giving me way too much credit than I'm due. If you remember correctly, I'm blind. Out of the eye of the cookie.
Indeed. So, do you have any last words to tell the jury about Aradia's murder?
Well, I tried to tell her that I was sorry, and really, truly, I am, but she just wouldn't have any of it.
Objection! Do not believe a word that comes out of this vixen's mouth. Can you believe her? Even now, whining and complaining that she's so sorry for what she did. She's always been proud of being a cutthroat sea grift, and no one knows this better than me. Now, Vriska, tell the jury about how you murdered Tavros Nitrum.
Okay, there we go again, calling me a murderer before I'd even had a chance to explain my side of the story. But now, dear, sweet Tavros, where to begin with him? Well, I thought that little Tavros could use a little push in the right direction, shall we say? So, I thought that I'd rile him up with a little bit of pestering, you know, the usual stuff. The teasing, the taunting, trying to make him want to advance instead of abscond for once in his miserable life. I mean, what's wrong with a little challenge, huh? And so eventually, he took the bait and accepted. Unfortunately for me, our fight got more or less out of hands when he decided to pull a lance on me, which, by the way, is a very dangerous weapon, might I add. So I had no choice but to act in self-defense. I sidestepped and took that weapon and put an end to all of it. Obviously, it wasn't the ideal way to end our little encounter, but what can I tell ya? Them's the breaks.
Why does this lance smell like Tavros, though? I mean, like, did he just stab himself? I don't get it, Miss Serket. Tavros, please come to the stand. Please tell the jury about the events that led up to your murder.
Well, okay. I was talking to someone, and then I was talking to Vriska, and she said some things that were really terrible and kind of manipulative. So I was telling her how awful that was, and she kind of challenged me. And I guess since I was so confident, which is kind of debatable because of my new legs, but I couldn't handle being egged on by her anymore. So I got my lance and I met her in one of the halls, and she had my legs for some reason. It was weird. And so I charged her, and Rufio told me to go for it, so I charged her, but apparently I wasn't quick enough because she intercepted me, turned the lance around, and she kind of stabbed me. But, not kind of, she stabbed me. And then she threw me off the ledge again.
Thank you, Tavros. I'd like to call Rufio to the stand.
He's not here. He's not in the room. He's not here.
So Rufio's not here. Why not?
He is here. Maybe he's kind of my imaginary friend. Kanaya told me to give my confidence a name so that it would be like insulting someone else instead of insulting me, because that's not good. So he's not here.
Tavros, all imaginary friends are real. You might not be able to see them, but I can, smell them. Being this here mind gives you perks like that, you know? Besides, Rufio totally told me he saw the whole thing and Vriska is guilty. You may have the seat, Tavros. Vriska, do you have any last words before the jury determines your guilt?
Are you kidding me? You act like this whole thing was so inevitable. After all, you know how it is when you got all them irons in the fire. You gotta keep them hot. And what could I possibly say other than I just can't be nice all the time? Because that is not what being a troll is. Unlike what some people in this room seem to think. It's not all fairies and sunshine and butterflies. I like what you seem to think. And besides, you all heard it yourselves. Hazelnut had stabbed me, isn't that right, Tavros? You're shaking your head no, but you know that you did. And, I guess it's not like I don't feel a little bit bad or anything like that. I'm sure that there were plenty of other ways I could have ended that little encounter. Ways that I could have possibly let him live. It's kind of like how there were plenty of ways that you could have handled our little encounter, and ways that you could have let me live. Oh yeah, I'm bringing this child right to your front doorstep, Terezi, you backstabber! Literally, are we just going to conveniently forget that there is cerulean blood all over her hands? Murdering the so-called murderer. Oh yeah, that's real, fair, and honest. An eye for an eye and the whole world goes blind, isn't that right, Terezi?
Enough, Vriska! It's not always about you. I called our true self, the one we said we'd stop backstabbing each other, and I did so for a reason. It's because you're dangerous. Not only to everyone around you, but to yourself as well. You're really good at being really bad, I'll admit it, okay? That's what makes you a great troll. But when it came to our survival on the meteor, you were a liability. What would have happened if you had gone off to fight Jack? You were gonna do it, don't you deny it. You would have given away our location with no guarantee that even the luckiest roll of your dice would have done enough damage to kill him. There was no way to win, and the only benefit to you was some selfish need for vindication based on some alien human concept of regret and a newfound desire to be something more like them. Your dumb acts to garner their pity won't work. People in the jury today will be determining the guilt of Vriska Serket. You'll be given 1 minute to come to your decision. Please use your time wisely.
You're all going to fight. You're all gonna find me innocent, right? You will. Oh, good. Come on now, you gotta believe me. Oh, I see you back there. Don't you put your thumbs down. You're gonna get it. I promise you, you're gonna get it. I'm not a murderer, but I'm not above using violence. I'm not.
Spectrum, and Aridan Megiddo, please raise your hand if you find Vriska Serket guilty of any of these charges. Thank you. You may put your hands down. Please raise your hand if you find Vriska Serket guilty of any of these charges.
TJ, you said guilty twice. You said guilty twice.
Come on, louder, louder! She can't see us!
She's guilty! Even the blind can see she is to blame.
Are you kidding me? There were some people out here who were calling for my innocence, and you're still gonna find me guilty? That's it. This whole court is a joke. I'm being set up, and it is all your fault. You say that there's blood on my hands, but I'm still insisting that there's blood on yours. I'm dead because of you, you backstabbing bulge licker.
Blood on my hands? I don't see any blood on my hands.
Of course you don't, you're blind.
Besides, justice is blind. Don't you remember, sister? I hereby find Vriska Serket guilty as charged. She'll be sentenced to a public hanging at approximately 10:50 a.m. in front of all jury members.
What? Oh, this isn't fair. It's not fair, I tell you.
Miss Lalonde, we're ready for the next trial.
Oh, this is just embarrassing.
Case against Gamzee Makara for 2 counts of murder.
Gamzee Makara. You've been brought here today for the murders of Vriska and Nekocon. How do you plead?
How?
Rumor has it you were present during the time of their murders. Would you like to tell me where you were during that time?
I don't think that's any of your damn business.
It is so my business, Gams. You have anything you'd like to add?
Might I add that you best get your stupid nostrils out of my face, my most judgmental of sisters.
I will put my nostrils where I very well please, you Faygo-flavored assault to the senses. I would like to call Vriska to the stand. Please tell the jury about how you were murdered.
I had been speaking with Nekocon about the issue concerning the high blood. I went in search of him under the orders of our leader. Upon my travels, I actually came across a slain muscle beast. His rippling muscles were...
Zach, get to the point.
Very well. Continuing with my recounting. I came across the high blood who was sitting atop a preservation case wearing your glasses, actually, Your Honor. I mistook him for you, which was a mistake. He demanded I kneel, and I refused, and he shot me through the knee with an arrow. Then he broke his bow in half and asphyxiated me until I was blue in the face.
Thank you, Vriska. Is that what you seem to recall, Gamzee?
I ain't about to get my remember on to such rowdiness, but yeah, sounds about right.
Sounds about right. Smells about right. Nepeta? You witnessed your Maryam get murdered, did you not?
My Maryam was brutally...
Please tell the jury what happened.
Well, after Equius told me to stay where I was, I decided to go exploring in the vents. Though I guess that wasn't one of my best decisions. Anyway, I was crawling through the vents, and I saw it. Equius was talking to somebody, and when I looked closer, it was Gamzee. Gamzee, he started strangling Equius with his bow, and Equius could have done something about it. He could have, but he let it happen.
Could you please tell the jury what happened next?
Equius fell, and
I was just so mad. I took out my claws, ready to make my kill, but Gamzee, he grabbed my wrist and broke it. He dragged my claws across his face and threw me down, and I'd rather not say the rest.
Thank you, Nepeta. You and Equius may have a seat. Gamzee, do you have any last words on these murders?
Doesn't all up and matter to me whether y'all be setting me up for the noose or not. Ain't like it's gonna mean anything, you know what I'm saying? Ain't got a splinter of bone all up in this husk that regrets. Nah, I ain't gonna get my regret on this shit. Kill me if you want. I'd like to see you try, sister.
People of the jury, today we'll be determining the guilt or innocence of Gamzee Makara. You'll be given 1 minute to come to your decision. Please use this time wisely.
Wait, you can't do this. You can't just decide like that whether or not he can live or die. I shouldn't have that asshole and spat hot comforting spittle into his ridiculous hair ducts until he was calmer than the bloody sea he had the misfortune of living next to. He's changed. Besides, if I thought he deserved to die, I would have killed him when I had the chance. Besides, I'm the leader here after all.
You wouldn't have been the leader if I hadn't have made you leader, Carcat. While I value your opinions, this is my court. People of the jury, please raise your hands if you find Gamzee Makara guilty of any of these charges.
Not on behalf for once.
Thank you. You may put your hands down. Please raise your hands if you find Gamzee Makara innocent of all charges.
Can't smell the jury's verdict.
Down with the clown. Down with the clown. Down with the clown.
Well, since Miss Pyro can't smell the jury's verdict, survey says that Gamzee Makara.
Innocent! Of course I can smell it.
But the jury says he's guilty.
Oh, guilty! Well then, I find Gamzee Makara guilty as charged. He'll be sentenced to a public hanging at approximately 10:50 a.m. in front of all jury members.
You can't do this, Terezi. You can't. That's my monorail. You can't just kill him like that, please. Gamzee, you're not gonna let them do this to you, are you? Gamzee!
Carcat, stop getting your pennies in a bunch. This was just all an elaborate game of flirt. Nobody's really gonna die. Instead, the audience members will now be able to take out their electronic devices and cell phones. The criminals will come on stage, and they will take pictures of them. Their punishment is public humiliation by having these pictures put on the internet. You may have a seat, Makara. I'd like to call Aridan and Empora up. Are you embarrassed enough, Empora? Pictures, pictures. Thank you, audience members, for being in this dream bubble with us. You will be waking up shortly. Please be sure to make it to the other Homestuck panels today. So you want to date John Egbert will be at 4 o'clock. I think it's in panel room number 2.
Yes.
Yes. All right. I would like to call Vriska Serket.
You're gonna have to drag me up from this seat. There's no way I'm getting back up there. Oh, God, I didn't think you were actually gonna do it! Make sure to get my good side. Yeah, all right, here we go.
What good side?
You gotta work, sister. We are at an anime con after all.
All right, Gamzee Makara. Evidence, evidence.
No, this ain't gonna work, right?
Because she's pregnant. like she framed me.
Thank you. This panel is now over. Please proceed in a nice, safe, orderly fashion.